Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Curtis Turner. I am the principal of St. Francis Academy. On behalf of our entire school community and the Oblate Sisters of Providence, it's my distinct honor to welcome you to our historic school. In a particular way, I'd like to welcome our neighbors and partners. First, Ms. Regina Hammond from Rebuild Johnston Square. Mr. Sean Klosky from Rebuild Metro. The Honorable Jack Young, Mayor of Baltimore City. And Mr. Michael Braverman, Commissioner, Department of Housing and Community Development. Welcome to you all. St. Francis Academy was founded in 1828 by Mother Mary Lang. Its original mission was to teach children of color to read the Bible, which was an extraordinary act of courage in the slave state of Maryland at the time. Today, we are a Catholic college preparatory school with an enrollment of 230 students representing 80 zip codes in the Baltimore metropolitan area, other parts of Maryland, and cities up and down the East Coast of the United States. We are proud to say that we have been located in the Johnston Square neighborhood since 1870, and we don't plan on going anywhere. One point of particular pride for our school community is that we would never tolerate the type of town gown tensions that plague other schools and their neighbors. We are indeed surrounded by a wall, but the gates of the school are never locked. Both old and young have always been welcome onto our grounds, this community center, and into the school. We seek not only to be a positive force of change in the lives of our students, but a positive force of change in the neighborhood as well. For the past 20 years, on any given night during basketball season, we can have up to 1,500 fans from all over the region descend in our neighborhood to watch our nationally ranked girls or boys basketball teams. With the support of our partners, we hope to have the same thing happen on Friday nights during football season. Right now, Patterson Park benefits from calling our nationally ranked football team its home, but we look forward to the day when we are drawing those same crowds to a community stadium and a park on Chase Street. My work with these wonderful people has given a vision and hope to the neighborhood surrounding St. Francis Academy. But we have a vision that goes well beyond a football stadium or park. This is why we are so committed to working with our partners in Johnston Square. It is a vision that provides the following. 1, a quality of life that includes eliminating the food deserts surrounding this community. 2, a safe place for our children to play. 3, an opportunity for St. Francis Academy to educate more students from the immediate neighborhood. And finally, 4, and perhaps most importantly, it provides for the current residents of Johnston Square an opportunity to benefit from our growth, not to be excluded from it. We thank you again for joining us this afternoon to hear some of the details of our vision. It's my pleasure to turn the podium over to Mr. Michael Braverman at this time.
Thank you, Dr. Turner. I really appreciate that introduction. It's great to be here at St. Francis Academy. This is really an incredible moment, a real milestone in the future of Johnston Square, and I am so proud to be here with everyone in this room who I have worked with for years as we move down this path together. I wanted to acknowledge some of our elected officials that have also come in. Our controller, Joan Pratt, will hear remarks. Our council president, Brandon Scott, forgive me, forgive me. And our, and our councilman, Leon Pinkett. We are supposed to be joined by our councilman here, Robert Stokes, and I'm not gonna keep talking until he shows up, but I do expect Robert to be here, and I know he has been part of this from the beginning, and I'm sure whatever happened that's delaying him, he is really would rather be nowhere else than here. So this is an exciting moment in terms of the partnership, and between Rebuild Johnston Square, thank you, Regina, and her husband, the force behind Regina, and to Rebuild Metro, God, and for all the years that we have been working together with Rebuild Metro, thank you to Sean, to Wendy, to Mike, the members of that team who make, we're so fortunate in Baltimore to have this nonprofit developer that really, really ensures that we're getting the kind of development that our communities are looking for. We're very lucky to have also Build. I don't know if I said Terrell is in the house or anyone from Build in the house, but Build is a partner in Johnston Square Partners, and it's an incredibly strong part of what makes this city and this neighborhood strong. And Barco, Baltimore Arts Realty Corporation, and thank you in the audience, that bring us here today. So this, what we're talking about, what these boards is really about a community-driven plan, and you see some of the boards, to redevelop Johnston Square. It's about, and I think a couple of, many months ago, Sean and Regina, members of Build, Neil showed up and challenged us at the city to say, like, we have this incredible idea for how we want to redevelop our community. And the thought would be that that would scare us, And but the reality is, it's the work that this community has done with Rebuild Metro, with St. Francis Academy, with Barco, with Johnston Square Partners, is about real community leadership to get the kinds of outcomes that has been the vision of this community for a long time. And it is a great opportunity for the city of Baltimore to be a partner. And it's important that the city be able to be a collaborative and creative partner that can take advantage of those opportunities that are presented by communities. So it didn't scare us at all. And here we are, and I wanted to thank, of course, the mayor, the council president, and the controller, because all of that had to be presented to the Board of Estimates. That land disposition agreement had to be approved by the Board of Estimates, and the Board of Estimates didn't flinch to support this community when the time came. So we have a really innovative, visionary, forward-thinking, imaginative, inspired, even and resourceful effort, one of the most that I've seen in my time in Baltimore. It's community-driven, and I want to thank the mayor, controller, Councilman Stokes, and council president. I also want to thank the mayor for his support of our community development strategy, which at the end of the day is about bringing resources, community-driven visions to long-distressed communities in Baltimore City. And so the community development framework is the basis of that, and the mayor has been a supporter all along, and he's here today. Without further ado, I want to bring Mayor Bernard C. Jack Young. Everybody know what that stands for? Mayor, C stands for community.
That's what it stands for.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, C stands for community all the time. I live and breathe community. Good afternoon to everyone. I'd like to acknowledge again our council president, our comptroller, and our councilman Leon Pinkett. I know that Robert Stokes, something must have happened because he's always early. I texted him to find out where he was. But anyway, to Dr. Curtis Turner, who is no stranger to me, found in these seats quite often, haven't been in a while, but I'm looking forward to being in that stadium. To Sean Klosky, Regina Hammond, thank you, Regina, for your hard work in the Johnston Square community. Congratulations to the Johnston Square Partnership and to all the supporting organizations for the work on the Johnston Square Vision Plan. I'm so pleased the city is partnering in this effort. Our strategy to place the community at the center of the planning process establishes the community as the master developer for neighborhood revitalization. This is innovative, this is creative, and I believe this will be a successful model for other communities throughout our city. We're working to approach the needs of this city comprehensively. Working together is really the only way we're going to be able to successfully address decades of unmet opportunity. Our administration has been working for equitable neighborhood development, making unprecedented investment in historically undeserved neighborhoods, support local-driven community development, increasing access to affordable housing, bringing development and investment to communities like today as evidence that we're making it happen. It's clear that we are putting people first. I'll say that again. It's clear that we're putting people first, which means community. And we put the community first when we approved the land disposition agreement, giving the Johnston Square partners site control over all the abandoned properties in Johnston Square. I'm looking out at the dedicated community members here. I know the strength and resilience of the people of this community. I'm looking at the institutional stakeholders, local business leaders, nonprofit organizations, state partners, and public agency. It took all of us to bring a shared vision forward for Johnston Square, and I know this collective work will bear much fruit. We've already seen so many positive things happen. St. Francis Academy Neighborhood Center renovation and expansion next door, the Marcassa, Preston Street, Phase 2 home ownership development, Lillian Jones apartment, family-friendly and affordable housing, and Johnston Square Park, recently renamed in honor of Henrietta Lacks. I know this community. I live in this community. And I know that there's a strong leadership from within the community that has emerged, that is driving this new vision. Regina, thank you for your leadership on this. Your leadership is what has brought us together today, another remarkable day for our city. Regarding the vision for Johnston Square Field, today we are going to begin the demolition of the last 3 vacant on Brentwood. I knew the families that lived there on Brentwood. Completely clearing the area for a future development of the proposed 4-acre park. And I'm going to enjoy getting in the bulldozer today to start that demo. I'm looking forward to joining you again at a future date to celebrate the arrival of the park and other developments that are part of your vision. Please know that I remain committed and a committed partner for equitable neighborhood development and transformation. Thank you. And at this time, I will call the council president, and following him would be Controller Pratt, in that order.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to be here today and to speak for this critical occasion. This is what community and economic development looks like. For far too long in Baltimore, we have been building communities around the community and not through the community. And today we see what community development looks like when we build through the community. Here in Johnston Square, thanks to the leadership of folks like Miss Regina, the folks at Build, the great folks here at St. Francis Academy, those at Rebuild Metro and the city and all our partners, we see what true community-based economic development looks like. And this will serve, in my opinion, as a model for how we should redevelop Baltimore throughout. The plan to rebuild Johnston Square is a plan that serves for this model. We know what we have to do throughout Baltimore City to make sure that the community is centered in all redevelopment. Because together is the only way we will ensure that the residents here in Johnston Square and beyond are living in a neighborhood where residents have quality, affordable housing like they will have here, but also living in a safe neighborhood that provides all the amenities and needs that they want. Everyone knows that I love basketball and football. I've seen St. Francis whoop a many a high school team and plan on seeing them do even more in the big new stadium across the way. But we know what kind of pride that also brings to the community, what kind of pride that brings to Baltimore City. And providing those opportunities and providing a place for our young people to be educated in a facility like this, in a great school like this with the history that it has for Baltimore, helping to expand it is a great thing, and we just have to continue to do more throughout Baltimore. So congratulations to everyone in Johnston Square thus far, and I look forward to being with you until the finish line when Johnston Square is the best Johnston Square it can be. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thank you for inviting me to attend the initiative for the rebuilding of this neighborhood. I rejoice each time Baltimore showcases events that reveal a city on the move. Improvements are vital to our city because expansion shows that Baltimore is thriving. More importantly, our continuing growth and development says that we, all of us, are absorbed in the well-being of our city and its citizens. I grew up in East Baltimore, and I remember that in Baltimore's neighborhoods, you just did not own or rent a home, you became part of the community. Today, history and innovation are joined to revitalize a vibrant community. Live Baltimore described Johnston Square as an active neighborhood with access to a nice park and a view of downtown. To the perceptive ear, that sounds like prime real estate to me. In closing, I would like to say that I am thrilled to see Rebuild Johnston Square partners take on a new initiative for the redevelopment of Johnston Square. After the site is demolished and the redevelopment begins, I cannot wait for the upcoming groundbreaking and ribbon cutting ceremonies. Thank you, and a special thanks to Regina for all your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Controller. So forgive me, I had a senior moment and I couldn't remember Neil's last name, so I'm going to correct that. Neil Diedrichson, thank you so much for your work at Barco and your commitment to this partnership. Towards the end, before the mayor gets in the cab, that's the best part of this day, when the mayor's going to knock those 3 houses down, ending that legacy of blight, creating a 10-acre site, some of which, and people have been driving here for a long time and living here for a long time and wondering exactly what has the city been acquiring all that land for? Well, the answer's here today on that board. It's an extraordinary recreational field. We're looking forward to the mayor taking the last 3 houses down on Brentwood. I also wanted to thank Dr. Franklin Lance. I saw him here from Parks and People, extraordinary partner in our work in Johnston Square. Henrietta Lacks Park wouldn't be what it is without the work of Parks and People, so thank you so much for your work. Without further ado, I want to say that I have known and worked with Regina Hammond for, I don't know, definitely going on way back when I was in my 40s even, you know? That's a long time ago, but almost 20 years ago. So Regina, it's great to working with you. It's great to be at this milestone. I can't wait to come see you here 2 years from now. We cut the ribbon with Dr. Turner on this field. Regina, could you please come up and give us some inspiring words? Thank you.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I am truly excited. Who would have, as they say, thunk? When we got together 7 years ago, as divine intervention would have it, when I met that build organizer who saw my frustration and asked me, what is it that you want? And all I wanted was just to have some peace because we had no recreation, the kids had nothing to do, and all we set out to do was just clean up the park so they would have someplace to go. Who knew what would have happened next? Because when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And for me, that was the build organization. They taught me some principles on how to organize a community. And as you see, we have part of our core team here who, of course, we have our partners who do what they do, but these people are on the ground. While we're telling you your investment is worth it, we're cleaning our streets and making sure it looks good and let you know that Johnston Square is worth your investment. At this point, we've completed that $1.5 million renovation of Henrietta Lacks Park. We had a whole block of houses in the 1200 block of Homewood that we have since rehabbed with our partners for Rebuild Metro. Currently, we're constructing that 60-unit apartment building at the corner of Greenmount and Chase Street. And now we're clearing that field for when you came up Biddle Street and you saw those ugly, vacant houses with X's across them. Who didn't hate coming down Biddle Street and seeing all of that and look at it? I'm glad just to see right now the clear field, but I can't wait to see what gets put on it. So stay tuned for the future of what we have coming, because we asked the community, what do you want to see? And as a result of what the community told us they wanted, we're working on our master plan. We're going to be building that 400 and 600 block of Biddle and Brentwood and working toward the vision of our master plan. The future in Johnston Square is so bright. And with the core team, I just want to say thank you for all of your support and answering the call whenever I send out that text message. Guys, we got to clean up this corner. I want to thank all my partners here in the room, the City of Baltimore, the Department of Housing, the Mayor's Office, St. Francis Academy, the Johnston Square Partnership. None of this would have been possible without the strong partnership that we have developed, and I am so very thankful and excited. Thank you.
Thank you, Regina. Gina's got a lot of energy for all of us to try to keep up with, so she's setting the tone. I want to say, Mr. Mayor, it's also that this is a collaboration. It's not just the Department of Housing and Community Development. It is the mayor's cabinet, neighborhood cabinet, that brings the agencies together, that allows us to really provide the kind of support for Johnston Square that we want to provide across Rec and Parks on public safety issues with the Department of Housing and Community Development, with all the agencies that we need. And still, we need these incredible partnerships to create the kind of future that has been envisioned here and that we know is going to happen and that we are committed to being an inclusive, equitable outcome. As the council president said, this is the future of community development in Baltimore City. So why would we sign a land disposition agreement where we would commit to put 700 properties into that land disposition agreement for the redevelopment of Johnston Square over 10 years? It's because we have the utmost faith and confidence in our partners, in the Johnston Square partners that I have named before. And they have experience. They leverage our money with private money that they bring to the table. They have a history of positive outcomes. I haven't talked about all those details because the person who leads Rebuild Metro is a force of nature. And we are so lucky to have him and his efforts in Baltimore City. And it's such an opportunity for the city of Baltimore to participate in an LDA and to add our properties to the work of Rebuild Metro with Sean Klosky at the lead. So without further ado, Sean.
Thank you, Michael, and thanks to everyone who's been up here before, because really, when I look at this room, it is all of us that are doing this. There is no one arm that's lifting harder than the other. This is really about, at every level, someone is carrying a really heavy load. When we put together the LDA and it was passed early in the fall, one of the things that we committed to was a community-driven planning process. We had a vision that came out of the community that was about healthy, about people who live here, who have long lived here, being able to stay, but stay in a healthy and vibrant community. And we said, we can do that. That's no issue for us. And us was, again, the partnership Sparco and Build and Rebuild Johnston Square Neighborhood Organization in St. Francis. The idea was to go out and find a planning firm that really understood who we are and what we were looking for. And Hord Copeland Mock, I know Matt's right here someplace, they helped really take these ideas into reality, and we're going to build on that. The idea is, simply put, think of this. You walk out of the train station and you walk across East Baltimore without seeing a vacant house. Why should you not do that? Why is that unusual? That should not be unusual. That is what every community deserves. We deserve to build houses and playing fields and recreational space and homes for everybody. Homes for folks who make a little bit and homes for people who have some, right? Why can't we have that? We can. We just have to put our work to it. And the room is filled with a group of people that are willing to put their shoulder to that effort. So this master plan, you see an entirely new vision for Johnston Square, but it is a vision where everyone fits, everyone belongs, because one community can make that happen when we work together. And I'd like to thank the leadership we have here that has, from Regina on up, and everyone needs to remember, anyone who ever stands at a microphone on Johnston Square, Regina got us all into this. So, but we can do that. So the idea is we will invest over $140 million, and we have already made a down payment. We have already raised the first $20 million, and you can see buildings being erected. You can see the entire block of Homewood, the 1,200 block of Homewood has been returned, and we will do this to make sure there's space for everyone. So thank you very much.
At this time, one of the hardest working councilmen who always call in and want this and want that for his district, Councilman Robert Stokes, my councilman. Thank you.
I always want to thank God for being here today. That's important to me. There's some great things going on in Baltimore City, especially in the 12th district. You got the 54 unit across the street. just look, the next 60 days, there's something going to be happening at the Old Town Mall. Now, we've been trying to do the Old Town Mall for 30 days. There's going to be a groundbreaking soon for 60 days. But I just want to thank Rebuild Metro. You know, when I met Regina about 8 years ago, we were on the playground when we wanted to get it redone over, and I actually had black hair then. And when I see Regina riding through the streets, I try to duck her, but it don't seem to work. But I just like this partnership with the community, Regina and everybody. If you work together, these kind of things you can accomplish here in the city. And it's very important that we use the word partnership, because we can't do it by ourselves. When we got good partners, everything seems to move forward. That's why we talk about building a new stadium here on Greenman. I tell people that and they can't believe their mouth fly wide open. I say, you got to come to East Baltimore. We moving forward. So I'm glad to be here. I'm glad this is happening. And Regina, no, I'm one of their biggest supporters. So when we need to move something forward, I'm there. Thank you.
And let me tell you, I can second that, because Councilman Stokes will call me anytime, night or day, to make those points. So I wanted to, before we ask the mayor to knock a building down, I just wanted to point something out. This is, a phenomenal day. The future's bright. We're doing this together. But at the end of the day, when you look across the street and you see what's essentially a 10-acre site that's now going to be primed for repositioning in the market, largely as a field, that takes a lot of work to get there. That was a bunch of houses on 12-foot wide lots, maybe 60 feet deep. And I want to thank the DHCD team, past and present, for all the work that went into assembling that land and putting the LDA together, all the lawyering and work that it took. It's a lot of work. So I want to thank Jay Green, who's here today, who runs our development division, who's also our chief operating officer. I want to thank Jason Hessler, who leads the demolition efforts, who's got a hard hat with him today. I see Howard and Nikki, and I want to thank Tony Badon, who's not here, and Kate Edwards, who's not here. It is a team effort. It is a lot of capacity that it takes to produce our part of the bargain. It isn't just capital. It's a lot of capacity that DHCD needs to have. So even struggling through the loss of Wendy, we are still able to move forward and build the capacity that we need to continue to be the partner that Johnston Square needs us to be. So without any further ado, and I want to thank Tammy Hawley. Forgive me, I always forget Tammy, for helping to put this event on today. And our business leaders in the community who I see today, who have been here for many, many generations. So Tammy, thank you very much, Tammy Hawley, for putting this event together, and Kevin and Mossy on her team. And without further ado, Mayor, I think we have a building to take down. Let's go do it.